What are some of your hopes of takeaways from today's program and your presentation, the conversation that you've heard so far, some of the big issues that the industry needs to tackle, and what you hope today helps bring about?
So first I will say is that it's a time for us to be all very optimistic around what premium video can be. It is the best way for marketers to reach their audiences. We're coming off of the greatest upfront in history, and there's a lot of successes that we can look at. At the same time, there's also this incredibly, from my perspective, optimistic collaboration between all the players in the ecosystem, whether it's networks or distributors. We know the power of what we have, and that if we work together, we can create value for everybody. Both those things are, I think, incredibly positive and optimistic themes that I'm seeing today. There are also some challenges. Things like fragmentation of audience, fragmentation of data, the need for addressability, new digital competition, the need to rationalize different sources of demand, ones we create ourselves, ones that the market create. And I think we need the tools and approaches to deal with those.
When you speak to the programmers, what are some of their needs, and what are they telling you that they need to solve?
Yeah, so the first one is really a fragmentation of audience, right? We are in the golden age of television, but because there are more choices, viewing choices than there ever have been, more platforms on which we can build audiences, it's hard to pull those audiences together for marketers. And so a lot of the work that we've done is to try to create tools that allow the programmers to do that. Fragmentation, though, isn't only a problem that's kind of limited to audiences. It's also important issue in data. Everybody has their own different data pools, and people are struggling for how do you create joint identity across platform, or how do you find the segments that you're looking for across multiple pools of data. And so there's a lot of work that we're doing to try to help solve that problem for the industry. In fact, later today we're going to talk about our blockchain initiative, which in part is aimed to do that, although there's a lot of ways that we can do it, and that's clearly one of the top needs. Another one is addressability. And with addressability comes the need to manage yield, right? You can target your inventory, but how do you deploy or use your inventory most effectively across everything that you're doing? And so all the networks and the programmers that we talk about also kind of struggle with the best way to optimize with the ability to target and extract the greatest monetization from the audiences and the inventory that they're building. Then there's things like, how do you rationalize different sales channels? Historically, everybody just sold their own inventory. And now with increasing demand from programmatic, more kind of audience buying, more ability to kind of bifurcate remnant sales channels with kind of direct sales channels and data-enhanced sales channels, how does somebody kind of rationalize all of that? And we're trying to create the tools that allow them to do that.
Finally, we spoke a little bit about this in Cannes, but Comcast, the technology platform, it's becoming very closely integrated.
We make investments in technology in order to support the ecosystem. Comcast Cable is a discovery platform. We drive a lot of viewership and for all of our network partners. And it's also important that we deliver for them the tools that allow them to fully monetize their content from an advertising perspective, right? Advertising represents half the revenue of the ecosystem. It is critical for the survival of the ecosystem. For us, making sure that the tools exist for that to happen as efficiently, as effectively as possible is critical. We rely on our customers to help us understand the issues they're trying to solve so that we can collaborate together to solve them. And I think so far that's proving out to be a very successful model.